Alanís 4 Grammys and a legion of fans. But Jagged Little Pill didn't come out of nowhere.
From Canada.
Growing up in Ottawa, Canada, Alanís was performing in public when she was a child and had a record deal by the time she was in high school, yielding a daily schedule that seems dizzying to contemplate. And how did you balance?
There was no balance. I think I learned a lot of work addiction tendencies from quite a young age, and eventually a couple of my teachers took notice of the fact that the first periods I was
right.
and nothing personal. So one of the teachers, my drama teacher, said to me, you know, on the down low, I know what you're doing after hours, and I know that you often do it till 4 a.m, Alanís. So feel free to come in late.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then one of the counselors at my school gave me an extra credit for the many, many hours I spent in the studio every day. And I was really moved by that.
Boy, that's a cool school.
It's amazing.
You know,
yeah.
No school like that I ever attended.
I know,
they would have
right?
docked you, you know?
Yeah. No, there were teachers that were docking me for having this wild life that perhaps they had issues with. But, you know, they say a note from your parents means nothing to us. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how to help you here.
Though Alanís' wildlife was extraordinarily productive, it took time for her to find her creative voice. Her first 2 albums were conventional dance pop and showed no sign of the emotional range that would mark her later work. Alanís soon realized that she wanted to write more personal songs, but felt she couldn't do it if she remained at home in her native Canada.
I wanted to make sure that I was somewhere in a context where the slate was clean, basically, because there were a lot of preconceived notions of who I was as a teenage artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I wanted to evolve it or, you know, just imbue it with a different consciousness, it was met with resistance. You know, I had some people saying, you can't write these kinds of songs. You know, we need you to stay in your lane, for lack of a better term.
That's not you, dear.
Right, exactly, literally word for word.
Yeah.
So I just thought, okay, then I'm just gonna go to Los Angeles.
The move to Los Angeles changed everything. Within little more than a year, Alanís had released Jagged Little Pill, and soon was filling stadiums all over the world. She's gone on to sell more than 80 million records. Along the way, she's also raised a family, and the raw emotions that marked her breakout hits have softened.
Everyone, please welcome Alanís Morissette!
Indeed, in 2022, when Alanís was inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, she returned to her homeland with a very different perspective.
It's not always easy for me to receive in that kind of a formal public way. But at 48 now, I realize that there is some grace and some elegance in receiving recognition, even if there's some inner conflict around it.
Mm-hmm.
That I just have to push that aside and show up.
Right.
And for now for many reasons. Now to show up because I'm a woman, to show up because I'm a woman over 25. You know, there's a lot of reasons to show up now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And to let yourself be loved.
Yes. And then to model what that looks like, as awkward as it might be to receive love in that kind of way.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, to push through it, but then also to see it as the sweet illusion that it is as well.
Oh, I like that. The sweet illusion that it is. That's beautiful.
Because it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a poet, you know. You ought to write songs.
I should get into this.
Yeah, you should get into that. My 2 guests both found fame as teenagers and never let it go. But growing up in the limelight means living far from your roots, with little time to learn your family stories. So both came to me knowing almost nothing about their ancestors. That is about to change. I started with Ciera. She spent her formative